Hi guys, Hot Rods in the Woods here with just a couple little ideas that may help you out. Might save your life if something drops on you. Y'all recognize this mess. Good old-fashioned transmission jack. I've been using one all of my life. The one I originally used, I guarantee you, was made 65 years ago. I'm now 67, and I probably used it when I was a teenager. They haven't made them any better. They're still all junk. And even the brandy new ones that you buy still have this same wobbly garbage that you're supposed to line up around a pan and all of that shit. And, well, you know. You get it on there at best day. If you've had a couple beers, you feel safe. But if you haven't had a couple beers, it scares the hell out of you. So here's a trick for you. I'll buy you one of these. They're like $10. And buy them at Home Depot, they're probably 15. Lowe's, 15. Temu, 7. Amazon, 10? I don't know. Anyway, find your oddball shaped transmission. This works on automatics. It works on all standards. Get yourself a spot. Remember where it's going to be flat. And just push this thing in there and get a profile. Poof. We have a profile. Cut yourself a piece of plywood to match it. Do that in two places, a little bit far apart from each other, like this. I used an old 3/4 inch cabinet door that I had laying around and a piece of 3/8 plywood because the plywood doesn't have to be that solid. Then you just screw it all together, make sure you put your pieces in place, and then we just find where it goes. Am I upside down? Probably. Alright, give me a minute. Gotta be smart in what you're working with. There it's gonna go. Problem is, can you see how that fits? So now, let's see if I can make this work. Probably not. I'm leaning against a bunch of junk. So now when I take the transmission and I set it on top of my transmission jack, look at that. Whoa! See, it's so solid I knocked my light down. But it isn't going anywhere. So then you can put your strap over the top, whatever you want to do. Somehow I zoomed, I don't know how. There we go. And it's not going anywhere because this will set on the pad. And you can even drill a couple holes if you want and bolt it right to your plate. I actually made this one wrong. As you can see, my cabinet door piece here was a little bit taller, so she slants to the back. But that is so much more solid. You put this transmission on top of that Mickey Mouse garbage that they use as a pad on top of either one of these, it won't sit. It wants to roll to the left or right. No matter how much you tie it down, you end up shimming it with a hammer handle or some garbage. This took like 15 minutes, and it makes it so you can do it all by yourself. So there's one. Hope you like it. Number 2's coming up right after this. I'm going to goof with it, so what you see is what you get. Having problems with my tablet not wanting to play the game. It, for some reason, says I'm out of memory, even though I erased everything on it that I could. Oop, like this, I just unplugged my light. Let me get this magic garbage going again. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. That's a little warm. Okay, here we go. Those of you that are familiar with T56s, much more than I am, know that they are inherently known for taking out the front bearings, as if you watched my last video, showed you all of this gobbledygook and burned up bearings. Well, the problem is we don't drive them like grandma. We drive them like we stole them. And the problem with that is the way the case is designed. Let me get it kind of flat here. So if the transmission's sitting flat, the oil level's right here. Now that compares out to about, this is the bottom, this is the top, right about in here, I believe. Yeah, somewhere right in here. So it depends on the countershaft spinning and this entire shaft spinning to flip some oil up there and get it in the top. Well, here's the problem with that. Imagine you pull a hole shot 4,000 RPM ranch. Wow, first friggin' gear. Life is good. Tires are spinning. It hooks up. And just like the Coke you have in the cup holder, which tries to end up in the back seat, all of the transmission fluid ends up probably closer to back here than it does nicely splashing from here up into here and getting this bearing and the bearing up inside here lubricated. A Tick Performance makes one you can buy. It's like $400 or $4,500. They put a pump in it. You can do front covers. They magically make pumps and all that. But if you're like me, there's another way. I'm cheapskate. I don't have that kind of money to take a perfectly good T56 that I own now that I replaced the problems and just sell it to some other unsuspecting soul who goes out and tears the front bearings out, and he's still in the same boat. So here's what I've come up with. It's a little bit expensive, but it's not thousands of dollars. So you get yourself one of these. This is a Tilton pump. It's continuous flow, so you can use it as a lubrication pump. You can set it up on a switch. If you're just driving down the highway, life is good. You don't have to worry. But if you're going to do that whole shot and smoke tires and yank the wheels off the ground, which hopefully that thing will do because, well, there's a lot of car behind the wheels, not a lot of car in front. I don't know how well you can see this, but the harmonic band, well, I'm not going to go all the way up under there, but the crankshaft of the motor is actually even with the front axle. So the motor is set quite a ways back from original. So that being said, it should be able to snatch the wheels just playing around. It's got 411s, of course, a 297 first gear, so we'll play. Anyway, so here's what I've come up with. I got my magic pump. I have all my AN fittings known to man that I've got everywhere out here. And I've come up with that is a 1/2-inch MPT, 1/4-inch pipe plug in the middle, fitting to replace the original fill, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to come out of the drain plug in the back. That is going to feed our pump. Then our pump is going to feed in through here. I went and tapped the other end of this fitting to 1/4-inch MPT. I put a fitting in here with a ferrule. I'm going to take a piece of 1/4, well, this is actually 3/8 tubing. I'm going to run it up alongside of the case, right up to just about the middle, and have it spraying right on that. Now, what that means is, over here, you can see there's plenty of clearance. I marked right here is original fluid level, so that's where the tube will come out. It'll come up along this side, right up to about here. And then I'm going to have it sprayed directly onto, I can't get there from here, right in here to that bearing, and it'll splash around there, which will lubricate those two bearings. Now that's rather important, because if all the fluid's going to the back, let's assume you're at 4,000 RPM. You dump the clutch, goes down to 2,800. Whatever it does, when it starts to hook, ATF is pretty thin stuff. It does not leave a great coating on things as it goes away. So just by adding this, now this will come up like this. Where's my top? Well, it's actually up here like this. And this is just a piece to show how I'm going to do it. It'll come up around the side of the case. Actually, it'll come way up here. Come right up here. Now I can drill some holes in that tube along here so it sprays out toward it, and then have it dump in the top. And then I will go ahead, and I know this, everybody's going to say, oh, don't do that. I'm going to drill a hole through the side of the case. I'm going to put a retainer clip there, and I'm going to goop it on this side. I'm going to use a rubber washer. On the other side, I will use a Nylox nut and rubber washer, and that will lock all of this into place. So my bottom fitting here will be tight. The ferrule will be tight to hold the tubing, and it'll come up to the top and hold the tubing. And one of the other good things, well, and if you use a Nylox nut, of course, or I'll probably double nut it. So regular nut, then a Nylox nut, just to make sure everything doesn't come apart, and seal it. Even if the copper tube comes loose, copper doesn't eat steel bearings. So it won't be pretty, but it would still save it. So that's the plan. It should work fine. It will help a bunch, because no matter when the fluid goes toward the back, just let me pick this up and show you. There's the drain plug. The fluid will run to the back of the transmission. So it won't cavitate the pump. So that's just one of those things that if it works, you'll know it right away when I put this thing in. I'll make sure it clearances, of course, and all. And that's one more trick that you don't have to pay the big bucks for. Now, this pump was a couple $100, but a couple $100 plus a couple fittings, blah, blah, blah. Figure I'll be in at a total of $300, including AN fittings, which I do have to order a couple. Maybe your math is different than mine, but if it saves me $1,000, it's worth it. And we're smart enough to do it and make it live, then that's all that matters. So, neighbor's complaint is going to live again. Those fittings, of course, now I found out won't be here for another week because Amazon doesn't deliver in 2 days where I'm at. So, thankfully, I can put the whole inside together. I can put a 1/4-inch pipe plug in here. I can fill it, run it, do everything I want to with it, and then as soon as those other parts come in, I can plumb it in. In the meantime, I just won't run it as hard as I could. Have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I can really use it. I know it takes a long time to get something going. We've still got this thing going to happen. We've got a 28 Ford Model A pickup coming in this coming week, or about a week behind. I've got a 66 Catalina 421 beautiful hot rod coming in the next few weeks to do some tweaking on and fix some Mickey Mouse wiring that other people have done, and maybe put an air conditioner in it for the guy. So stand by. We got a lot of neat stuff happening. In the meantime, I'll keep throwing these tricks and stuff that I find out along the way just to keep you interested and show you some new stuff that maybe you didn't think of. Have a great day. Bye.